Hey everyone, this is Shawn Garrett, founding attorney of Garrett PLC and founder of the Legal Eagle podcast. Thanks for being here. My goal with this podcast isn't to brain dump complex business law and tax concepts, but instead to highlight some of the entrepreneurs and business leaders in the communities that I serve. I'm licensed to practice law in North Carolina, South Carolina, Illinois, and Missouri, so many of these stories will be coming from Charlotte, Greenville, Chicago, and St. Louis. Today, we have Will Hedrick with My Charity. Will, thanks for being here.
Of course. So excited to be here, Sean, and very happy that we are not diving into the depths of business and tax law. So happy to be here.
Yeah, definitely. Will and I have known each other for a few years at this point. I sit on the board of his charity. Will and we network together. We are on LinkedIn. He just has such an amazing presence and heart for his project that when it came to getting someone on the podcast that I knew was really going to talk to the heart of their business, Will was that guy. So to kick it off, Will, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself personally and professionally?
Yeah. So I always sum up my story very quickly in different chapters of my life. So I always start out when I was 17 and saying that was when my entrepreneurial bug started. My brother and I launched a furniture company when we were in high school out of our parents' garage, building custom furniture, selling custom furniture. He's a general contractor and home builder now in the Charlotte area. So it was a good combination of his interest and skill set, my interest in business and entrepreneurship, and we came together and ran that for about 2 years. After that, I went into the real estate world, went off to college, did real estate for 4 years, started a real estate firm, and really enjoyed seeing the chaos that was the COVID market of real estate and getting in there. And then getting, again, a little bit further into the entrepreneurial world. And so after I graduated from college, I did a 6-month stint in New York, did a little digging and seeing if this is really what I wanted to do and sticking out the real estate world. And then, of course, as we all know and have hinted towards, came back to Charlotte, decided that I did not want to be in the real estate world anymore. And then coming up on 2 years in August, I have been running the nonprofit called My Charity. So it's been a 3-chapter act, I guess, so far. But that's the short story, I would say.
Congrats, that's amazing. I've got two questions bouncing off
Yeah.
that story, and I'm surprised I haven't asked you these before.
Mm,
Real estate. What did you learn from real estate? Because you were selling real estate. You were, I think
yeah.
you got your broker's license. Was that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
what did you learn in real estate that is just going to keep you moving forward? What's translated from there to your
It
business?
is all in sales in general. That's all real estate is sales. Is just building relationships. And I think that I use attorneys as the other example in any sales talk that I ever am having or giving to people. Is it's real estate agents and attorneys. You have to stand out. And you have to be able to actually build relationships with people, be a caring figure. And I know that you get this all the time in your position of that attorneys are just here to give you a sheet and bill some hours and not actually provide any value. And that is not going to be a sustainable business in the long term. And so actually having a genuine interest in people wanting to sit down, have conversations, assess problems and see what you could do to actually help, and maybe not make a dollar or a fortune and just actually be there to help. I would say that was the biggest takeaway. And then, of course, the importance of personal branding and marketing in general. Again, you have to stand out. You have to be someone that is actually, again, able to connect with people. So I would say those two are the biggest combination of learning experiences from that time.
Yeah, well, I think that's tremendous, especially when it comes to that personal branding
Yeah.
aspect of business. One, you have to be someone who people want to do business with. You've
Hmm.
got to be presentable. You have to be able to carry yourself well. And then on the flip side, you have to be able to deliver. And I think that that's so
Yeah.
huge. When I was a young attorney, fresh coming out, I thought, the shoes needed to be the most polished and, the tie needed to be the most straight. And
Yeah.
yes, that gets you in the door, but then when you open your mouth, you have to really be able to hone your craft. And so
Mm.
I think that that's tremendous. And you do a good job of standing out. Every time I see you, you are just dressed to the nine. So I got to commend you for that.
Well, that started from the real estate world. I mean, I was 18 trying to sell homes to 60 and 70-year-olds, because I was fortunate to break into the luxury market right out of the gate. So it was, I mean, I again had to stand out. And I think that what you're hinting on, of actually delivering, there's a big difference in between an 18-year-old and a t-shirt coming out to try and sell a $1.5 million home versus someone at least in a suit and tie. That's also where the facial hair came from as well. I needed anything that could help me look a little bit older.
I got it too. You know how
There
it
you go.
is.
It's the secret. It's the secret.
Yeah, it is. When it comes to delivering, it's so different in our industries, but it
Mm,
can also just be, it's also very similar. So, for example, one of the complaints that I hear all the time in the legal industry, and you probably hear this in the industries that you were in and are currently in,
hmm.
people don't answer the phone. People don't answer emails.
Yeah.
People don't communicate. And so showing up and delivering can be as simple as just communicating, talking, picking up the phone
Hmm.
and getting answers. Do you experience that in the nonprofit world at all?
I would argue that communication is delivering, and that is the vehicle to being able to deliver a result. I mean, especially so what we do with, as soon as you donate, our main value proposition is that you get photos, videos, GPS coordinates, a financial report, and field notes that proves your impact down to the penny. That's not a completed legal document or a case or anything that you're working on. But the point is that we communicate for, I mean, it could be up to a year long before your donations get to the field, just because of how quickly we have to fundraise or how long it takes to fundraise for certain causes. So being able to communicate, it's the same thing as tracking a package. Being able to see
Mm,
what's going on from A to B and just having this open source communication. If I've hired you, Shawn, and I need you to complete work, yes, if it has been 6 months and I need you to finish a LLC document that's one page for the state of North Carolina, that might that might be a different discussion. But if
yeah,
you've
yeah,
talked to me for the last 6 months, said, "Hey, I had a kid 2 months ago, and this might not get done anytime soon," I'm not going to be upset with you. So just
yeah.
being able to, I mean, again, I think that the vehicle to delivering a good experience is communication, and you hinted on that immediately.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So let's dive into your business a little bit more
Mm,
granularly. I obviously know your business pretty well, so I'm going to discuss. We're going to walk through a discussion for the listeners and the viewers. I donate $50 a month via the
mhm.
My Charity app. Now, we are not donating in this first bucket. We're not donating directly to My Charity. My Charity is the vehicle, and you are sending that money to other charities, but I'm going to see my impact via your application. Walk me through that.
Yeah, yeah. So what we have done is built an online giving platform. So users go online, pick and choose the cause that they care about from 40 different options. That could be cancer, climate change, sea turtles, you name it. And you donate monthly. So once you go on there, you create your profile, you get access to all of these wonderful features, and we take 100% of those donations that you have made directly to the field. And once that is
Wow.
done, we have partners in the field, pre-vetted and pre-approved, that we make grants to, and they're out in the field doing the work. And so, I mean, I do not need a lab coat. I should not be doing cancer research. There are way smarter, well-equipped people that need funding. And so that's how this model really works. And so then once they finish up the work, we then take all of this data, all of this information that they've sent back to us, and send it right to our donors. Those photos, videos, GPS coordinates, financial reports, field notes, everything that I was mentioning earlier. And you get emails and notifications right on your phone, right on your laptop, that proves your impact down to the penny.
I love that. I love that. And I just want to
Mm.
hint on, not hint on, I want to bring this to the forefront. 100% of my donation that I put in a certain bucket goes to that nonprofit's cause.
Yeah, so we've updated, and so it's 100%. You can now make a separate donation to our overhead or operations costs. Same thing, think Wikipedia is always what I say. And you can also make an optional donation to cover your payment processing. But what our goal is to make people love the act of donating. And a core pillar of that is transparency. So if you donate to 99% of other nonprofits in the world, you might get a receipt, you might get an annual report, And that's going to be about it. You're not going to get any communication as to what your individual outcome was or anything along those lines. And so what we're really trying to do is get people engaged and build trust with our donors. So 100% goes directly to the field. And we separately fundraise for all of those unsexy overhead costs, those operational funds from rent to marketing to my salary. So that is a difficult business decision for sure. But most importantly, it's the right thing to do. And that's what we're doing in the nonprofit world. We're not cashing out any large equity. So we're here to make the difference in the world. And we want to be the best vehicle for people to do that as well.
Yeah, I do want to highlight the videos and photos that you send to your donors because I think that's extremely important. But real quick, you know, being the behind the scenes kind of guy, I do want to take the non-sexy topic and bring it to the forefront.
Yeah.
If people want to donate in terms of overhead costs, because being able to fund the vehicle making an impact is making an impact. What does that look like? How are you fundraising for that currently?
Yeah, so it's a lot of behind the scenes private conversations. So what we're typically looking for is wealthy individuals that can make larger sized and potentially multi-year donations. And so, I mean, when you think about it, we need people. We need to be picking up salaries and growing our team. And that is, unfortunately, for us, not the cheapest thing to do. And especially, I mean, the two words that you hear to describe the nonprofit world and the operations side is overworked and underpaid. And I do not have any interest in paying people less than they're worth and overworking them when they should not be. And so being able to really tell people and have these private conversations on the operations side, what your impact here is empowering every single donor that comes on and uses our platform. And a lot of them choose to donate through us and with us because of that 100% model. They know where their money is going. They know what their donations are doing. And it is a huge, huge draw. So those are the conversations that we're having. And it is not easy. It is a difficult road to be finding the right people that want to support these unsexy costs because a lot of people want to go and fund cancer research at a local hospital, potentially get a name on a building if they're going to be writing a large check. And
Yeah.
we are not in the business of architecture here. So we want to make that impact. We believe that doing it digitally and with our platform is the right thing to do. And that's really that process that goes into it.
Love that. Love that. So we're bringing it full circle. We're talking about standing out again. We're going from suits to
Yeah.
photos. Now, one of the things that really drew me to your charity was the quality of your photography.
Mm.
One of my passion projects for a long time has just been very visually pleasing imagery, whether it's videos, whether it's photos. When I remember being younger and everything on YouTube was, I don't know, less than 720p at some point in time, and we watched it thinking that it was great. But then I remember when 1080p came out, and I'm like, wow, this is
Mm.
this is tremendous. And then 1440, and now we're getting in the weeds. But then 4K came out, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. And everything you post, none of it is lesser quality than the highest, I would argue. Tell
Mm.
us about that. Tell us what effort goes into to sourcing those images.
So it depends. I mean, we use, again, partners in the field. We use stock imagery if we can find the right stock photos and get in there. But I think that the biggest thing is that for any photo and video that we're producing, and what I think is so outstanding is that the cameras can do the work, but I think that what's happening on the other end, the storytelling, the seeing the imagery of a sea turtle that has had a surgery recently, and we've been down filming for a few days at this hospital or rehabilitation center, to getting inside of a refugee camp and telling these stories or being able to actually see what's going on. You don't need anything fancy to be doing that. You can, I mean, heck, everyone used to say phones. You could take a phone camera, but now our phone cameras are 4K and outstanding. Um, but when you have a story that's worth telling, gosh, it's a lot easier to stand out and actually be producing content that people want to connect and see.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that tremendously. When it comes to the brands that these companies are putting together, whether it's small businesses like us or major corporations, I always think about the screws. I'm a big
Mm,
car guy, and so I won't get into the
hmm
specific brands, but there are some companies out there that will use, screws that cost just insane amounts of money. And you would say, well, can't you save a couple dollars there? Well, you could, but then with the overall finished product, when you get in this vehicle and
mm,
you push on the pieces and nothing's making noise and you close the doors and it sounds like you're in a concert hall, it's the littlest piece that adds up to the greater good for the whole. So
oh
I
yeah.
think, I think that you're hitting the nail on the head when you're taking so much attention to detail to something as small as the photos and the way that
Mm,
you're, using these donations. So kudos to you.
thank
Okay,
you.
I got a couple more things I want to bring up real quick, and then
Mm.
we'll be wrapping up. So, the Legal Eagle podcast, legal, obviously, for my profession, Eagle, golf. I think I'm a big golfer. In
Mm-hmm.
the golf world, par for the course is adequate. We're all good with par. Birdies are great, but Eagles are exceptional. And so, we're shooting for exceptional. Give us a glimpse and translate exceptional results in your business.
I would say it comes down to the digital experience and user experience in general. And I think that the biggest challenge that we face and talk about all the time is personalizing all of our touch points from the marketing world. Being a completely digital nonprofit, we do not have the opportunity to sit down and communicate with donors all the time in person, shake hands, meet anyone. And so when you add this veil of the internet behind anyone, it's very, very, very difficult to personalize donations from Shawn wants to support cancer research versus Ava who wants to support sea turtles and other wild animals. And those two different communications and marketing channels need to be personalized so that you're not getting information that should be going to Ava, vice versa, whatever it is. And so that is when I think of taking that next step and making things exceptional, because that's our thesis pretty much, is that individuals want to know what their impact was and not become a number that is printed out on an annual report or just a group together fundraising effort. And so that would be my number one word that comes up when I think of exceptional is individualization.
I love that. I love that.
Mm.
Well, we're near the end of our time. How can our listeners and viewers find you?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is the easiest place to find me. I think that my profile is just Will Hedrick on there. And then if you're interested in learning more about my charity or our application or any of the work that we're doing, you can find us at www.mycharity.app. And there will be as much information on there as you will hopefully have any questions about.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much, Shawn.
Yep. Talk soon. See ya.